In this video guide, we will explain how to prepare the AquapHOx Logger to a long-term standalone deployment from setting up the device, over configuration and calibration, the standalone logging mode, to post-processing the data. Before configuring the underwater oxygen or pH AquapHOx Logger, the corresponding sensor needs to be connected. It is mandatory to wear gloves to protect the sensor from irreversible damage. Fill the connector completely with deionized water. Ensure that the connector is bubble-free. Insert and secure the sensor with the cap nut. Tightening the nut by hand is sufficient. If you are using underwater fiber-based screw cap probes, ensure that you additionally fill water into the screw cap before connecting them to the sensor tip. Connect the AquapHOx with the provided USB plug with the PC and start the pre-installed PyroWorkbench software. The main window of the PyroWorkbench is separated into 4 parts. The menu bar with global buttons and display of warnings, the device overview with all connected and software-compatible PyroScience devices, the configuration overview with numerical data with respective configurations of the connected devices and current sensor data, and graphs of your measured sensor data. To start the configuration, open the setting wizard by clicking on the appearing device picture on the left, on the little gear symbol underneath, or use the menu bar at the top of the main window. If the computer was shut down before, only the flashing device can be clicked on. If someone used the device before, you can load the last configuration with the respective sensors. Here, we demonstrate a new configuration. The software will ask you to enter the sensor code, which can be found on the package or on the cable of the sensor. Then enter the serial number and choose the recommended settings. Depending on the different analytes, several parameters need to be selected. Oxygen sensor settings will ask to select the medium and output unit first. For concentration units of the soft oxygen, you may have to enter the salinity of your sample based on sodium chloride concentration. The configuration of pH sensors will start with the sample interval. The minimum intervals for each sensor type are listed in the datasheet with respective specifications, which can be found in the download tab of the product page. The settings low drift can be selected in case of long-term measurements. For short-term precision measurements, low noise is preferred. However, this configuration will shorten the lifetime of the sensor. In general, it is recommended to keep the pre-adjusted settings. For fiber sensors, enter the cable length of your fiber for a correct readout. The cable length can be found on the package. The last adjustment is the temperature compensation. This setting is important for correct measurements. The temperature compensation can be provided by using an external temperature sensor. It is always recommended to use the external temperature sensor. For some oxygen units, it might be possible to select a pressure compensation. However, the recorded data do not show the environmental pressure, and therefore it is essential to use a third-party hydrostatic pressure sensor simultaneously with the AquapHOx measuring device for pressure compensation purposes, as there is no correct pressure measured by the device. For pH sensors, you will have to choose the temperature compensation and the salinity in this panel. In the last panel, the general settings of the external temperature sensors are shown. Ensure the sensor is activated and click on Finish. After the configuration, the sensors need to be calibrated in freshly prepared calibration standards at constant environmental conditions. Dry pH sensors need to be equilibrated for at least 60 minutes, better overnight, before calibrating or measuring. For calibration, click on Cal on the right side of the configuration overview or use the menu bar at the top of the main window. The new window shows the current calibration state. If the calibration is valid, a green checkmark will be displayed on the right side. If a calibration has to be performed, a red cross will be shown. If a calibration is still valid but shall be refreshed, a yellow bar will appear. Enter all required parameters in the used temperature sensor. The software will automatically start recording for the calibration. Click Take Value when the readings of the optical sensor and temperature probe are stable in the respective calibration standard and the Take Value button is enabled. With increasing stability of the sensor signal, the color will change from red to orange to yellow to green. For the best calibration results, wait until the Take Value and the frame of the graph have turned green. Click on Done to complete the calibration. A successful calibration is indicated in green, showing the latest calibration date. The AquapHOx Underwater Logger offers the option to log the data without a PC connection. After the configuration and calibration, click on the red button below the menu bar and select the standalone logging option in the connected AquapHOx Logger. In the new window, you will find on the left side the battery level. The battery is charged during direct PC connection. Ensure that your device is synchronized to the PC time. This is especially important if other third-party sensors are used simultaneously. Enter a unique log name with 1 to 8 characters and select the duration time. The typical standalone logging time for a full charged battery is around 6 months for 1 minute logging. This time can be extended with a longer logging interval. Start the logging by clicking on Start Logging. The device can now be disconnected from the PC and will continue logging the data. After deployment, it is important to place the logger for 5 to 10 minutes in freshly prepared pH2 calibration solution before stopping the logging. This data can be used to automatically compensate the pH drift via the Pyro Data Inspector software. The obtained data can be downloaded as common TXT files after the experiment by selecting the correct log file and clicking on Download. By clicking on Download and Open in Pyro Data Inspector, the TXT file will be converted as a new file in the PYR format and opened in the Pyro Data Inspector. The software enables various post-processing options like the change of oxygen units or the pH drift compensation. Check out our YouTube channel for customer reports, guides, and product showcases.